Yeah, so it's just never take fucking life advice from anyone with an anime avatar. It's just a solid place to be. What's up, Connor? What's happening, man?
Hey.
All right.
I'm enjoying the draft so far.
You're enjoying the what?
The NFL draft.
Oh. Yeah, I'm not that motivated about it. I'll wait till the season starts.
Fair enough.
My Chiefs been doing all right the last couple of years, so I'll take what I can get. All right, we are recording. Connor, you're just gonna fucking wing it with us, man.
Okay, I'm all ready for it.
Sean's used to winging it, so we're where we're at. So,
well, Sean always wings it.
That's true. It's usually the bat wing.
It's one way to live it.
Yeah. So, Fly Monkeys Wargaming Podcast, where if wargaming was easy, it would be your mom. Dan Salmons is not with us tonight. Dan has a beautiful baby girl, number 2, I think. Do you remember the name, Sean?
Elizabeth? Something Elizabeth maybe?
Yeah, but healthy. Came early, so unexpected. Dan was supposed to be at the GT last weekend, so timing's about right. But, yeah, so that's why Dan's not here tonight. All is well.
Grace Elizabeth.
Grace Elizabeth. So congrats to Dan. Congrats to his wife.
Congrats to being Paddington.
Yeah. And look, Dan said he will be back next week. Unlike Duncan, who has not been back since he has had a child. So
still tax season for him, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess. Duncan had a kid, and like today, you could see his little icon popping up on the red messages, like, who do I got tonight? And like Duncan was reading them but not responding. So I'm just going to keep calling him loud, little bitch. So we got
one day.
Yeah, Connor's the stunt Duncan tonight. So those who don't know, Connor McCormick, regional player. You'll find out more later, but a GT winner now. And
finally, after so long.
Connor and I have some shared trauma of a New Year's Knockout 2020. So you
guys do, don't you? Yeah.
So that's where Connor and I learned to bond. New Year's Knockout. He was slipped some nuts by a teammate that nearly killed him from a nut allergy, and I was hit by a snowplow. So both of us had a rough day at the New Year's Knockout. And that's when Connor and I got to be friends. So
I was just the imitator.
That was it.
Your incident happened first.
That's true. You were doing that. Was that a Notice Me Senpai cookie? Is that what that was?
Yeah, it was.
Well, so we don't have Ben tonight. Ben's got a prior engagement. I don't know what's up with Alex. We might just look for another co-host and see what happens. Cause,
he's on a secret mission.
Yeah. And I hit up Nate Martin even. Nate Martin got the second COVID shot, so something about transmitting 5G in the government, and that's but
Wi-Fi is making him tired or something like that.
That's it. We all hit the war for the wooden spoon. Had a good time hanging out with you fellas. We'll get into that later. I also do want to get into the Lord Marshal rankings because some of them have changed and moved up and down. But with all that kidding and planning aside, what's been up, fellas? How's your week been? You recovering?
Yeah.
Yeah, just work's been back to kick my butt as usual, but other than that, I got a game in finally. I got a game in this week, which has been nice so far.
Good.
Wow, it's fun.
That's better than I've been able to do.
Yeah.
Shit, Connor's like, I'm fucking retiring on top. That's what
Yeah.
Yeah, so war for the wooden spoon. I have not gotten any dojo time in this week. I was supposed to go to league night last night, and I had an issue with some health shit, and I could not go in. So my eye basically blew up, and something happened. I was exposed to something, and we're trying to figure out what the root cause of it is. So
you said your eye?
My eye. I will send you pictures, and you will be absolutely disgusted.
Yeah. Normally it's your hands, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't realize your eye now.
You want to hear the fucking
the
funny?
Good old neoprene hands.
Yeah, the fucking funny part is my hands are good. Like, my hands are actually good right now, and now my eyes are giving me some fucking fits. So
Well, time to jack off while you can,
it's,
right?
I guess. So I'll send you pictures you can see. Yeah, and Laura, we're waiting on some allergy testing to come back. And Laura's already treating me like a fucking mogwai. Like I got a list of instructions and shit I can't do. So it's amazing. I just need to live in a bubble. So I'll hire some stripper to roll dice for me and move models. But so that's why I didn't get a game in this week.
Fine, if I need to, I will.
Yeah, so, Sean, bring your shortest shorts, man.
Sean's already offering.
Yeah.
Sure.
Dude, Sean, I figured out, man. You know what, Connor? You want to know why Sean's weekend fell apart?
How's that? Was he
Okay.
not wearing the shorts?
Well, he was wearing the shorts, but Sean and I have this thing at GT's where we just play at the table right next to each other. Like Iron Halo, New Year's Knockout, like 3 or 4 GTs, Sean and I just play right next to each other. And War for the Wooden Spoon in one round, we were one table away from each other, but in separate rooms. And
Separate rooms.
that's when we went on separate paths. So
That's what made me roll 7 failed, saves on Mortarion and have him, be picked up instantly.
so as
You
long
both need each other's cheerleader.
Yeah, we do. And so as long as Sean and I can stay close to each other, and honestly, at fucking Free State, we were one table away from each other most of the weekend too, and then wound up playing each other. So I think as long as Sean and I can stay at tables close to each other, we'll both have decent weekends. And they had to fuck around and separate us this weekend, and basically just threw Sean off. So
All we needed was one more table in the main store, and I've been fine.
yeah, you could have been in the big
Or
boy
one
room.
less table, right? One less table.
Yeah, that I will say that was the first time I've played in a hollowed out Radio Shack. So it was
Honestly, the Radio Shack was more comfortable than the actual game store. Maybe
It was
AC.
colder.
I don't know what it was. Yeah.
So day
It was a
2,
lot
I was
colder.
over in the big boy room with Connor, and when
I was
came,
over there once. All right, I was over there.
and when I came over to the Radio Shack room, like the air conditioning was better over there. And I was like, man, you guys been doing this all day. I've been over there sweating my ass off.
It's good to be a bottom table one of these days.
So, but
I walked in there during day 2 lunch, and I'm like, it's 10 degrees colder in here. What's happening? There's more people in here, and it's colder.
it made no sense. But now Jason put on a good tournament. JT and Josh were good judges.
Yeah, they were judges. I had no complaints about judges. Or anything
Yeah,
like that.
there's-
the tournament was a good tournament.
Yeah, one of my buddies kind of got a little tilted with some of the active judging. But I'm a fan of active judging. I think if a judge walks up to a table and sees something fucked up,
I like active judging.
yeah, step in the game. I don't care. Sometimes I don't want to.
What did he do? What happened?
Well, when I was playing Steve, he pointed out something with Morty that, like, basically, Steve and I had already talked out. I messed up. Actually, it was to Steve's benefit, and Steve kind of planned his turn around it, and then Josh came by and fixed it, and Steve was a little tilted. And like I told Steve to just play it as the way we talked, because that was kind of how he played out his turn. It was based around what I thought Morty's aura was. And Morty's aura was actually further out than I thought it was. So it was to Steve's benefit to just leave it as we misplayed it, because that's kind of how he played this whole turn. And I didn't think it'd be fair to, be like, well, the judge came by and basically just fucked this guy out of his turn because of it. And we basically explained that to Josh, and Josh was like, okay, whatever you guys want to do. And that was kind of what we wound up doing, was like, I misstated his aura was only, I think I said 3 inches at the time. And so Steve played his turn.
Morty's is always 9 inches.
Yeah, I messed it up.
Always 9 inches.
I messed it up. So,
just like me, always 9 inches.
But I didn't want to get that game on like a gotcha. So I'm like, I'll just play it like I said it was, and next turn we'll go out to the 9. So that was kind of what was going on. But other than that, it was good. There was a couple times in Game 5. When I had issues going on, the judge actually came up to the table, and was getting involved in the game because of some of the issues going on, which was good. Which you heard my rant about that, Sean, on Sunday. So, but it was nice to have judges that were getting around, seeing the tables, being active, and Jason's strength. I'm not trying to make fun of Jason Horn, but Jason's strength is he's great at organizing. He's great at getting people together, getting the events, getting the things done for the event, having a nice event. But he's not necessarily on what I would say my top list of great Warhammer judges, and I think
players.
Right. And and in him knowing that that's a weakness, I think it was a good move on his part to bring JT and Josh down from Iowa to judge. And I think it made for a super good event.
It did, yeah. It was a great event. Like I had fun the whole time. I mean, it's nice when I can go to a GT within 3 hours. That's like my biggest thing. Oh, 3 hours, easy. I'm there.
Yeah.
It was a good time. I like being down there. Everything was good except for me going to a diner and burning the fuck out of my lip on some fried mushroom. I'm still healing from it. Like I can't open up my mouth all the way without it like cracking open and bleeding.
That's funny. Where'd you go?
I don't remember. I can't remember.
It's near the how. But he bit into this like fried mushroom thing and immediately just
that fucking hurt.
Like almost instantly.
Man, you should get them lips insured, man. Them things are.
I really should, right?
Man.
It's your moneymaker.
I know.
How can you make your nickels without them?
That's true. Yeah, I don't. It was a good time. I got to see a lot of folks. Almost all the 40KC guys I'm really big on. You guys have a good team, and I like seeing your people.
This was honestly like the biggest turnout we've had since basically COVID. I think
Tony Tebow coming out of the 40K retirement was dope.
Yeah, so. He did well too. He placed top 10, I think, or top 8 even. It was good having him out. Definitely missed that guy around.
And Joe, I always like seeing Joe.
Yep.
He's a hoot. And the Iowa guys, I really don't see at many tournaments around here. But getting is it the Rolling Sixes? Is that who it was? But the Iowa guys were all pretty dope. I got to play one of them named Jacob, and I kept screwing around with Kyle towards the end of the day, accusing him of ducking me. I think Connor heard some of those shenanigans going on over on our side of the house. But
Kyle's a good player. He was the one who I failed all 7 of those Morty saves against.
Yeah, so
picked Morty up right away. I said, "Well, that's how the game goes, isn't it?" He goes, "Yep, we're okay."
So check this shit out. This is kind of a funny story since we're talking about Kyle. I'm jumping to the end of round 5. But I won my game. And in winning my game, like I was fried, dude. Like I don't know how you guys are at the end of the GT, but I was fucking shot. Like I remember sitting there like just trying to do math. And
your last game was gonna be a difficult game, no matter what point it is in the tournament with that player. So
and I did. And for those who don't know, there's a player that we know regionally. I'll say his name, Jason Burrell. He's a difficult guy to play against, and sometimes I'm not sure it's intentional. Sometimes I'm not sure it's whatever. But there's a lot of misplaying things. There's a lot of things that you have to stay on top of playing this guy, and he's a nice guy. I like him, but you have to be engaged in that game and watching what's going on, or else next thing you know, like the game's gotten away from you. And just like there was a couple of rules things that like we had to look stuff up, and it was wrong, and going on and on. So like I'm mentally engaged in this game, and we're done. And finally, like I kind of figured I won, get in a position where I won, and I'm doing math, and like I can't do basic fucking math because my brain's so fried to get it done. And someone's like, I think it's 92. I was like, cool, whatever. And I was like 92-62, and Jason's like, yeah. And so Josh comes by with the iPad, puts in the score, and then like 2 minutes later, Jason's like, you didn't get 92, you got 86 or whatever. And I'm like, okay, I still won. Josh, got our score wrong. I need you to put me in at 86. So in the meantime, Kyle walked by, and in the placings, I was second and Kyle was third. So I was like, suck it, nerd, blah, 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 talking shit to Kyle about how he dodged me for the weekend, and it shows him, blah. And so we were laughing back and forth about it. And then I have to go fucking tell Josh to change my score, and I'm like, fuck, that might have put me behind Kyle. And So I look at the score, and I was still 1 point ahead of Kyle. So I was like, "Woo!" All that shit I talked, man. If that would have put me below Kyle, I'd have been eating some humble
Makes you
pie.
feel bad.
Yes. So I went and told Kyle. So I played it up some more. I went. And I said, "Hey, Kyle." It's like, "My bad, dude. I got my score wrong." And like he brightened up a little bit. I was like, "I still beat you by 1 point." And he's like, "Fuck you, Vince." Both of us arguing over first place loser like that, but it was kind of funny, and it made a good ending to the weekend. So, you guys that have not heard, Connor won that tournament, first GT win, right? Of course, he lags right when I ask the question. So,
Right.
What was the
What's
question?
oh shit! I said Connor first GT win, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good.
Oh,
Yeah.
was it your first GT win?
That
was
is the question.
Okay.
All right, yeah.
First GT win.
Yep, that was my
Okay.
first GT win. First RTT win even.
That's not an RTT win. That's a GT win.
First win. We'll put it at that.
Jesus Christ!
He still has not won an RTT.
Skip a step.
That's where I will keep that over his head.
I
won an RTT.
I have a very long streak of just being unlucky. There was a time when Raven Guard was a thing in the hotness, and I was playing it. I tripped down the stairs and knocked myself out, so I couldn't make the tournament. Again, New Year's knockout last year. Ate a cookie with a walnut in it. Went to the emergency room during my game 5.
They didn't put you in a fucking bubble.
And every other time he runs into me.
And then every other time I run into Sean, and he somehow has a counter for my list every time.
Lordy. Well, he didn't this time for fucking sure. So
yeah. Well, he didn't run into me, so that helped.
That's true. So let's go through round by round, and we can kind of get a picture of the tournament from our end. Let's start with you, Sean. What was your round 1? What was your matchup?
What was my matchup? That's the question.
Oh God.
Round 1. Yeah, right. Hold up. That was a week ago, right, or whatever. Skip me, and I'll come back, and I'll remember my round 1 opponent.
I've tried to. So my round 1 was a Team Texas guy named Steve. So this is kind of a funny anecdote too. So I'm running a real gimmicky list, and my gimmicky list is basically a shit ton of War Dog Moriaxes, Mortarion, and a little Chaos Space Marine detachment with a Wordbearer Sorcerer. And you'd think it sounds bad, but it's really pretty good against 90% of the field. I think it handles Dark Eldar well. I think it handles, Death Guard well. I think it works against Space Marines well. The one bad matchup I think it gets is high toughness armor. And so I saw we had 2 Imperial Knights players, and I'm like, man, I want to dodge those Knights games. And I think I was telling everybody the night before, like, man, I don't want to play Knights. That's the one matchup I don't want to get. If I can do that, I'm probably going to have a pretty good tournament. And sure as shit, bad luck, Brian. Round 1, motherfucking Knights. And we had the Search and Destroy. We played round 1. So, you got the 9-inch bubble in the middle of the table. And, I set up like I'm just, I'm going for it with Morty. Whatever happens, happens. And fuck, the Imperial Knights player goes first. And I think I wound up with Morty stuck with like 4 wounds on him at the end, at the end of round 1. And it just didn't... That game was not my shining glory by any means, and I got my shit pushed in. And it was a good game, good dude. He had a good-looking Knight Army, and then I have to kind of feel the shame of getting beat by the low-tier book with my jank. And so that was my round 1. Sean, you ready? Are you?
I am ready, yeah.
All right.
I played Dark Angels. Sorry, I was like, who did I play? I played some Dark Angels, a bunch of Terminators. Is I think three big blocks of 10. It's like 2 normal Terminator squads with like Stormbolters and Fists and Claws. A couple of the company chapter. What are they called? I don't know. Chapter champions or whatever. The 2-man Terminator squads.
Yeah.
There was like a librarian, a ancient, and a chaplain. It's like 99% of the list. a good solid game. It was just gonna be a slug out between Death Guard, basically Death Guard and Dark Angels. I was able to control the middle for I think 3 turns. I think if he would have contested the middle, it would have been more of a different game. But he gave it to me, for the first 3 turns. I think that's pretty much secured me the game. There's a good little action in the bottom, right of the map with Mortarion, and then it was, Deathwing Knights, and then the normal Terminators, and a Chaplain, and a Librarian. And basically, Morty fought all the characters, a bunch of Terminators in one. And that was... he did something then, which was nice, so... But
nice.
He didn't really have, like, the quality shooting to get rid of Mortarion quick enough. I think that's what put me over the edge on that one.
I see. So, what do you... is your list changed, or is it going to stay the same?
It's changed.
It's changed?
My list has changed. Yeah, after this GT, I was already thinking about retiring Morty after Free State Gaming Club, or the GT there. But I just, I had not played Warhammer basically since after that tournament. And I was like, I need something that's painted that I could bring, and that's just what it was. It was that list. That's what I brought.
Yeah.
First game, it worked really well for me.
Yeah. So, what did you have going on game 1, Connor?
So I played Brian with his AdMac list. It was basically a bunch of Cataphren Breachers. Like, an absurd amount. Mars, he had the Exploding Sixes guy, he had Call. And it was very interesting because the one list I was afraid of, like, going into this was AdMac. Because I knew that if I was in the open, they could just table me turn 1. Luckily, I had a nice little ruin to hide behind just on the edge of my deployment zone that I could use my mandrakes to basically screen in a ruin. And then from there, basically assault his entire army.
Oh, Jesus Christ. that the high-tech Dark Eldar strategy, huh?
Yeah. Although I took Banner thing with three-man horse units. And he put them on all 3 of my home objectives. Turn 1.
Dude, those horses are really good because they move. What is it? 12 inches or 14 inches, and then they can advance everything. Yeah,
and
they move 12 inches. They get a pregame move. Yeah, it's just so all of a sudden they've moved. What is it? 2 or 24 plus 2d6 inches on their first turn. You can't do anything about it because they're just, all right, I did it. Now it's your turn.
I was sitting there like, I want to raise banners on this objective, but I can't now. It's real annoying.
Yeah, they're going up to T4 and they're losing a wound, I think.
Thank God.
Which I'm happy with. Yeah, losing a wound, perfect.
All right, so your plan with that was basically just Leroy Jenkins and touch everything? Okay.
I knew once I got into everything, game was over. Yeah. I managed to kill a unit of Breachers with Hellions. Well, he went first, by the way, I should say.
Nice.
But I had everything basically hidden. So Hellions got into a unit. I sniped his Exploding Sixes characters with the liquefiers.
How are you able to get to that? Like, did he just...
He just left me a space. There was like a tiny little Raider-sized crack. 49-inch threat range is a hard thing to measure.
Sure, but you just put him in the center of your guys, and you shouldn't be able to reach that, right? I mean,
apparently he didn't get that lesson.
Yeah.
So, well, man. Well, I'm glad that paid off. So, Dark Eldar are so rough right now.
Yeah. I have ideas on how to play against them. I just need to play against them to see if my ideas are correct.
I've gotten.
I think you have the right idea.
I've gotten 2 games in against them, and I think I can beat them, but it's on nightmare mode. It's set. So the list I played at this weekend I think does pretty well against them. But so round 2 I had a Scuba Steve Hetmeyer, and I don't know if you guys know Steve or not, but he was actually the Lord Marshal one year, and Steve also won the best Eldar player at ATC. A couple years ago we went to ATC, so he is not a chump. He's a pretty good player, but he was playing Tau. So that he had a Tau list with a bunch of...
Exactly who that was, okay.
Yeah. Tau list with a bunch of crisis suits with a bunch of different armaments, and a shit ton of shots. I just figured, once I killed all the plasma infusion stuff, I was good to go because I was, T7. So that's pretty much what happened. And that was, Josh came by with some active judging that game, tilted Steve a little bit, but it was, Steve and I are friends, so we had a good game. And I managed to, and I thought, okay, well, I lost round 1, so I definitely am not winning the tournament, but let me see if I can get back on the path to redemption now with that victory. And that's kind of what my mindset was after that. So, what'd you have that round, Sean?
I played Sisters round 2, which Sisters are really the best way to deal with Morty efficiently.
Yeah.
And it's on Scouring too, which my list does not do well with Scouring. I fucking hate Scouring.
I redeemed your honor against that player later, just so you know.
I really do appreciate that, but man, Scouring should not be an NEGT. But I guess I talked to Jason because I went through the player pack and I was like, "Where's my Dawn of War missions? That's where my army shines." And he goes, "Actually, I based all my missions off of Goonhammer statistic. 5 missions he played had the narrowest first turn, second turn win margin or something like that." I was like, okay, but where's my Dawn of War missions? But,
yeah, I was kind of happy not to see the Dawn of War missions
looking
myself.
at what happened.
Yeah.
I went first on the Scouring versus Sisters. I need to go second on the Scouring versus Sisters. And so, it's hammer and anvil deployment, so I don't really have a lot of quality shooting, so I'm down there. But a lot of things did not go my way that game, but it was just, Morty let through two multi-melted wounds, and he, pops 2 miracle dice, and all of a sudden it's done. 18. Cool, that's cool. Yeah, it's just well, we can't do anything about that, but it was a solid game. It was a good game. I mean, I definitely knew it was an uphill battle, and as soon as he just did that whole 18 damage to Morty like that, I was like, well, this is going to be a rough game. And it was that. It was a rough game.
Yeah.
I think if I would have been able to go second, I would have been able to win it, but I just had to position myself to try to win at that point.
Well, now it makes sense why he got so tilted playing me, because you gave him a false sense of security about his ability to kill Morty.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. Yes. He must have just not rolled a 5 and a 6 on his miracle dice.
No, he picked the 6. So I got.
Well, was he not picking 2 dice versus? Because he picked 2 dice versus.
I think he did. I can't remember what exactly.
I don't even know all Sisters rules. He rolled 2 miracle dice when I went first, and I was really confused about that. So I thought you don't roll dice until your turn, but I don't freaking know. They roll dice. They roll dice every phase. Basically.
Yeah, that's gonna last. Gonna last a couple months, and then it's done.
Yeah, and then they're gonna reroll. My new list, I think, deals with them a lot better. Yeah. So I'm not salty by any means. It's just a little annoying. That's where it's at. But my new list, I think, will deal with be worried about Mortarion taking 18 damage on 2 field saves. I just have to worry about, 2 Death Shroud Terminators dying. That's it, which is a lot less. But, yeah, that happened, and then he kind of... I held the middle of the board for a while, but he just has more OPSEC, and he was able to clear off my OPSEC, hop on the objective, so it's just a struggle from there. Just being able to make every charge you wish to make because of Miracle Dice and stuff like that, too. It's just...
It makes sense.
Yeah, it was just, well, we can't do anything about that.
So what'd you have game 2, Connor?
So I played one of our locals over here in Kansas City. I played Jason Merton. Okay. And last time I played Jason Merton, he rolled 3 6s for Miracle Dice against me turn 1. And got a max range charge with Repentia against me.
Ugh.
Yeah. So this game I got a little revenge. I ended up going first and just positioning myself around the sides so that when he pushed up to his ruin in the center, I could just tag everything. And that's pretty much exactly what I did. I got my Hellions into 2 of his Retributor squads. And just turned off their multi-melta while killing another unit with a Viscerating Flyby. I ended that game 97-13.
Yeah.
The scouring should not be a mission.
Everybody hates it. When I saw it on there, I was like, oh. So
I even took the mission secondary.
stop.
What is the mission secondary on scouring?
So it's a scan on an objective that completes at the start of your next turn.
Okay.
And you need to get 4 of the 5 objectives for the full 15.
Ew.
That's
Yeah.
gross.
Well, I guess I say ew, but at the same time, it's like, well, Dark Elder covers the map by turn 2. So
Right,
as long
I
as they're
figured-
not shut off the table. So.
I figured I could pin him into his deployment zone and get at least 3, which was like 10 points. And I had the chance for the 5th one. Especially with Mandrake Scout deployment.
Fuck scouring.
Sean and I are just gonna sit here and shake our heads.
Fuck scouring. Andrew Kari.
What do you mean? There's nothing wrong with that codex.
There's nothing wrong. Well,
Fuck out of
eh,
here.
yeah.
Listen to yesterday's episode with the Falcon, man. Like a 70-some% win rate. They're like 1 percentage point shy of broken iron hands on that win percentage.
It's like what I read? It was like 72% win rate, and then it's like 75% with the mirror matchup or something like that.
Yeah, and like the best faction against Drukari is Drukari. Like, so, gross. I won't fault you, Connor. I'm glad you ran that fucker and got your win, man. I'm just giving
Hey,
you
win
they're,
when you
they're
can,
my
right?
baby. It was my first army.
Yeah, well, good, man. So round 3, I can't remember what I even fucking had round 3. I think round 3, I played Death Guard. I played Jacob from the Rolling Sixes, and my
Spawn
list.
don't have Invul.
What's that?
Said Spawn don't have Invul.
Yeah, and Sean was at the table next. You were at the table next to me.
I was next to
Did
you.
you win
Yeah.
that game?
I did win that game.
See,
Yeah.
look what happens when you play right next to me. So, played Jacob from the Rolling Sixes. My list is really good against Death Guard, and I wound up pretty much running away with that game. And turn 5, he had like a Plague Burst Crawler and Mortarion standing in the middle of the board with his, like, do I leave the objective and go do something, or I stay here and get the last 5 points I can get out of this, and I pretty much had my full. I lost, I think, 2 Armigers in that game and a unit of Cultists, two units of Cultists. So, but it was a pretty good game. We had a lot of fun. Jacob was a good dude and he was chill, and man, lightning locks can fuck up some chaos spawn when you throw them at them. So, what about your game 3, Connor? What'd you have?
So I played Steven, your round 1 opponent.
Okay.
Great guy. We had a fantastic game. So all of his knights, and I was looking at the deployments, and I'm like, there's not enough room for me to hide everything. So I basically put my Hellions out for all of his shots turn 1. Like, I put them behind a rune, but I couldn't hide them all. And I was basically banking on my turn 1 punchback with all my charges.
Right.
I screwed up the math in my head for what could kill a knight with rotate. And it lived on like 18 wounds because he was just rolling hard. And so I'm like, all right, this is my loss. And then his turn 2 happened, and he shot at something, and I just made like 8 6-up invulnerables.
Oh wow.
Out of like 10. And the I think it was a raider, and the raider lived. It was the raider that had all the Rackofires in it. And so I'm like, okay, I'm back in this game now. Let's go.
So
And
Rackofires, is that the name we're calling them now?
That's the Nick Nahavahi patented name,
Okay.
Rackofires.
I think we lost Dilly. Hopefully, we can get back
I think
in
we
here
did.
soon. Yeah.
And oh, he's back.
There
Oh.
it is.
Hey, I don't know what happened.
Turn 2, I killed his big knight, a Helverin. No, I killed 2 big knights, a Helverin, with the Rackofires. And from there, it was just all downhill.
Blitz.
I ended up scoring 100 in that game.
God damn, man.
Jakari scoring 100 points? What? I mean,
That's-
how many? You only missed like 17 points throughout the whole tournament, didn't you? Something like that?
I
Like,
missed 13 points
Yeah.
the entire tournament.
Stupidness. What that is.
Hey, it's not like that Death Guard guy that went 400s in a row.
Where'd that happen at?
Oh god, it was at the GT that the Night player one, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that night player messaged the show and said that he's been listening for a long time. So
Hey.
yeah, I'll have to go look up and give him a shout out. He messaged on.
He must have taken our list building advice.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Listen to the podcast. You win GTs.
If he's
Connor's an example. The night guy's an example. Just saying, we're starting a coaching service next.
If he's playing fucking nights, he's not listening to us. But apparently he's doing something. So. But no, it was good. So I lost train of thought where we're at. So we're
like my round 3 or round 3.
Yeah, Sean's round 3.
All right, Necrons. Pretty sure his name was Nathan. I think I haven't seen him around too much. I'm pretty sure he's an Oklahoma guy.
Sean, you see my ex-girlfriend?
He's playing like it's your ex-girlfriend.
It's his ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, it's your ex-girlfriend.
She's way hotter than I deserve.
Agreed. Yeah, so he had like 2 Satan shards, not any of the named ones, whatever, transcendent Satans, I think. Big block with 20 warriors. He had 2 10-man immortal squads. He had 19 blades of catacomb main barge, a couple plasmomancers and a warden, I think. I think that's, like I said, 99% of his list. He went first. Apparently, Satans can throw out some mortal wounds. Basically, all his armor shooting and his Satan's casting powers that Mortarion put him down to like 3 or 4 wounds. But Mortarion was still able to hop in to the middle of the table, deal a little bit of damage, and really just he was there to buff some death shots at that point. My death shots walked in, cleared out his tomb blades, and knocked his catacomb main barge pretty low on health. That game. It was a real big battle in the middle. Basically, our armies clashed in the middle, and then I had my 2 Plague Burst Crawlers up on the top, like left area, the top left area of the map. My Plague Burst Crawlers basically just sat in combat the entire game because they were some of my wildly stand targets. I was like, well, I mean, if he can't kill them in combat, they're safe here. So they just sat there and shot and didn't die like Plague Burst Crawlers do. And then just throughout the game, I cleared out his warriors and his immortals and his Satans and his command barge. Just took over the game from there. My Plague Skull of Glafilla rolled, which is the roll 7 dice within 6 inches. 4s and 5s more than 6s are deeply mortal wounds. It rolled 4 6s and a 5 or something like that, and I ended up doing like 11 mortal wounds to his warrior, which was really fun to see. But overall, it's a solid, good game. He was a good player. I think he said he's a newer player and he's still learning the game, but it was a fun game for sure.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
Paul MacArthur was the name of the guy that won the GT with Knights. So
Okay.
That's who he hit up the podcast. Said he ran the House Crast with 2 Majeras, Warden, 2 Armigers, and 2 Armigers was probably the same list Steve was running. But congrats, Paul, on winning that GT, man. I was
with Knights too.
With
like
Knights.
playing
With Knights,
you're playing hard mode. You're not
Yeah.
playing Drakari easy mode stuff.
There were 2.
Whoa! What do you mean?
There was at that GT. There were 2 Drakari in the top 5.
Yeah.
I think like 4 and 5. So that meant he was playing in the arena with the big boys and managed to come out on top. So good job, Paul. So that's everybody's round 3, isn't it?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. So round 4, this is where I got vengeance for Dilly is what I'll call it, I guess.
Thank you.
So,
Yeah.
so we had it was Hammer and Anvil deployment. I can't remember the mission though. It was
Battle lines.
It was the 4 objectives. There wasn't a center.
I think it's battle lines.
Yeah, there
battle
was
lines.
not a center objective. But basically, he rolled 2 rhinos out with Repinch in them. One had like a priest, or not the priest, but the preacher or whatever, and the other one was just straight Repincha. And I managed to pop one of the rhinos. The Repincha tumbled out inside and hid behind a wall. And on the other side, I left that rhino on one fucking wound, and I had no more gas left. And I kind of moved Morty to where I felt like everything couldn't shoot Morty, but the shooting he would get would be minimal. And so I was kind of hoping that was the plan. That plan would help get me through surviving with Morty. And so going to his turn 2, or hang on, let me make sure I got this right. I need to rewind because it's significant. So he went first. So his turn 1, he shot like everything at Morty and put 4 wounds on him. And I did one time. I made like he hit with Melta and wounded with Melta like 4 times, and I made like 3 of the 4 saves, and I CP rerolled 1, and that's the one that went through the miracle dice to put the wounds on him. Then I made a few of the feel no pains. But come my turn 1, I popped the rhino, had some Repentia, and I warp timed Morty up. That's what I did. I actually warp timed Morty into a unit of Retributors turn 1. And so he wiped out the Retributors and then piled in, or not piled in, but he consolidated into St. Catherine and a Canoness on my turn 1. And so come to his turn 2, he fell St. Catherine back. He fell the Canoness back, and he had like 2 other units of Retributors back there. And fired all the Retributors at Morty, fired everything else at Morty, fired Mortifiers at Morty, and left him with 4 wounds. And so he brought on a unit of Repentia that he reserved into his backfield, Miracle Diced him in for a charge, and forgot about them not getting rerolls. And so they only hit like a few times, and then like I think 1 wounded, and I made the save. And that tilted him. Like, he was done. He was like, he's like, I win this game. Everybody else said I should win this game, and here I am in my dice. And I was like, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, not having a good time.
Yeah, that guy got super salty when I said, hey, all right, well, here's the clock. We got to start it. He's like, can we not play on a clock? Well, the mission packet says we play on a clock, so we're playing on a clock. So I'm not getting carded because I already have 1 card. So, yeah, I got carded for not having some psychic cards on this.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had my.
I remember this.
My Morty and the Sorcerer had psychic powers, but my 2 Malignant Playcasters for some reason did not have psychic powers. Even though I use the same ones every game.
Yeah.
There's some reason they weren't on the list. I was like, I just looked at my list. I was like, huh, they're not here. And I called judges over. And I said, hey, by the way, these are my powers. And then Josh was so happy to card me. I said, I can't wait till he shows up to Show Me Showdown so I can card him.
Yeah.
Immediately upon entry.
Yeah, I'm gonna find something. But
yeah, but he had also before he shot it before he charged Morty with the Retributors, or not the Retributors, with the Repentia. He had the 1 unit of Repentia that lived out of the 1 wound Rhino. And he went and charged a Lightning Lock Moriax with the Preacher first. And I killed the Preacher in Overwatch. And so he charged the Repentia in, and they did like a total of, I think, like 3 wounds to that Moriax. So, like, everything he thought he had working just wasn't working out for him. And, like, I get the frustration, but it did. It tilted him and flipped him, and, he's cussing and yelling. I think, Connor, you were in the room and heard it, weren't you? Yeah, and
it was
really
it was very interesting.
Yeah, he was mad and slammed the door because we were right by the door where you come into the shop, and he slammed the door. And well, first I tried to shake his hand, and I said, "Well, I hope I was a good player to play against, and it wasn't me that reflected on how you feel about the game." And he wouldn't shake my hand and said stomped off and went and took a walk. And I was like, "Well, cool," And then he comes back in. He's like, "Put down whatever score you want." And I was like, "Bro." Like, at the point he only had 20 points, so like that's about all I can give him is 20 points because that's all he had was 10 points for painted and then the 10 up top for holding 2 objectives, and so that was kind of what it was. And but he came back later and talked to me and basically told me how 9 times out of 10 he wins that game, and all of his teammates told him the night before how he should win that game, and I'm thinking, like, maybe your boys hyped you up a little bit too much, and that's why he got such a disappointment. And now hearing how easily he killed your Morty, Sean, maybe that was part of it.
Yeah.
But having Morty in your wire turn 1 versus being able to just annihilate a Morty before he even gets in your backfield probably paints a different picture of what he's capable of. But
yeah, like I said, if I can send Morty into some sisters turn 1, like it's good for me. But when it's hammer and anvil, I can't do that with Morty.
Yeah.
But
shit, I did warp time, bitch. Wow. But no,
you must have deployed right on the line then.
Dude, that's what you do with that guy. If you do any different, you're doing it wrong. Yeah. I lie. There's times I didn't, but in general, on hammer and anvil deployments, like I'll pick a side of the board to where everything can't shoot at it.
Yeah.
And like that's the side I'm gonna try and warp time him up. And I did kind of Leroy Jenkins that charge, man, because it was a 9. I figured a 9 with a reroll, I got a decent shot at it, and the first thing I rolled was a 9. So I was like, Leroy Jenkins, but I don't know. It was good to like, and then I started thinking like, oh, maybe I got the points to get into second now. That's where my mind kind of went. Was like, okay, I have to really focus and pay attention and hopefully have a good game 5. But we'll get to that next. So, what'd you do round 4, Connor?
So I think I played one of your guys' round 4, Marcus.
Yeah, Marcus. He's a good dude. Harlequins.
Him and his Harlequin, Soaring Spiteless, crap ton of bikes, crap ton of haywire. I was actually very terrified about this list when we were going out to dinner the night before, because I just figured he would like blow me off the table with all the haywire, and I'd be stuck in the middle of the field. And so we get to the board, and the worst thing happens. He goes first, but then the best thing happens to me, and he moves close enough that I could pile out.
Oh, we lost Connor.
Hey, it's not just me this time. Yeah. So I pile out and I charge my Hellions.
Hey, there's that anime icon again. Look at that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's back.
Hi.
Hi, Connor. Back.
I think my Discord decided to update in the
It's a weird day when I'm the only one without the tech problems. I'm gonna knock on this wooden desk.
Yeah, don't say that now. We don't need to
say that now. We have to go.
Yeah.
But he kind of moved up a little bit too far, so when I piled out, I was able to charge him on my turn without the advance in charge. I killed like 10 bikes. His troop master, bunch of troops, a bunch of vehicles, turn 1. I managed to get my Rackfire boat onto his main objective on battle lines, because I took Assassinate and I wanted to kill his Death Jester that was there, sitting with like 5 troops. But I failed to kill all the troops. So I didn't contest his objective and I did get the Assassinate. But thankfully he melted the Raider to death. And I just piled out into the objective with all my OPSEC. So it was a good game. I think I ended like 95-35. Just because I penned him in after turn 1.
Okay. So Sean, what'd you have game 4, man?
Game 4 I had Kyle McCord.
Okay.
And well, this is the interesting game where Morty fails, 7 saves on demolition cannons. Right, demolition cannons? Yeah.
Yeah. 56 ones.
Yeah. So another. He went first. He did some. He had the. I guess let me go over his list. How about that? He had. He had the what? The re-rolling 1 tech priest, and then he also had the 6 explode warlord trait on him. A couple of the Scorpius or disintegrator boats with the ignore line of sight guns, and then he had I think a squad of Scutari and a couple of the dogs, and then he had Dark Angels with the land speeder, a couple squad of Blade Guard, and Azrael, I think. Whoever has like the psyker killing sword, and then he had 2. Oh, actually, he had a couple Redemptor Dreadnoughts as well, and then he had 2 tank commanders. I think just 2 tank commanders. What else was in the guard? Oh, and some Scions. A couple squads of Scions. he went first. He shot his dogs up basically all the way up the field. One squad set an objective. One squad tagged my plague risk crawler, and then basically the rest of his army just shot at Morty because that's what you do. Knock Morty down. A handful of wounds. I think Morty was still around maybe 13 or 14, I think, at that point. Then it goes to my turn. I shoot Morty up the field, because that's what you do with Morty, too. Morty kills, I think, a tank. Or no, he kills a blade guard. And then he piled at that point. I was like, okay, I feel like I still have the game at this point. Morty's still alive. He's in the lines. Now we roll blah, blah, blah. And then he shoots, his demolishing cannons into Morty and does 7 wounds, and I fail 7 saves, and then Morty dies. It was just like, well, can't do anything about that. And at that point, I knew it was going to be a rough game at that point, because once Morty's down, my list struggles a little bit, especially against all the vehicles he had in this long-range shooting, because I have a slow army. But it was a good game, fun game. He just shot me at the table, and I knew that was what was going to happen if Morty died. He did that very, very quickly.
So is Morty out of the list?
He is out of my list right now.
Morty's out of the list. We'll go through that after we in round 5 already?
We're in round 5 now.
This is round 5.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. So round 5, I had Jason. And, we already talked about that game a little bit. He had a bunch of Beast and Nurgle, and a bunch of Demon stuff, and a bunch of misplayed rules that were probably being misplayed all weekend. But it is what it is. And we had a civil game, so that's always good, is to have the civil game at least, and to be able to talk about it and get out of the other side of it. But there was a lot of things, like one time the Exalted Great Unclean one, like he's like, yeah, I roll 7 dice, and on 3-ups, Morty takes Immortal. And I'm like, well, that's really good, man. And he does
Wait, say that again? What was the ability?
Rolls 7 dice.
What ability is this?
It's supposedly his vomit thing. And I'm like, man, that sounds really good. And he does it, and like happens to get all 7. I'm like, yeah, I think I'm going to need to see that. And he's like, well, I got to find it. And I'm like, well, nothing but time. Let's do it, and pull it out. And I'm like, hey, that says you roll a d6 for each model in the unit up to 7 dice. It doesn't say you roll 7 dice. And he's like, oh, well, I misunderstood that then. And I'm thinking, like, this is game 5 at the GT, bro. And we're on, like, table 2 or 3. That's the wrong time to figure out that doesn't work that way. But, and that's pretty much the whole game, And there was one point in time where the Super Chicken I knew needed to get back to the other side of the board. And I remember thinking, like, I'll bet you that chicken doesn't move 12 inches. And sure as shit, so I had, like, the landmark already picked out for where the chicken was standing next to at the corner of a specific building. And I'm like, there's no way that's 12 inches. And the judge was watching by and watched him measure it. It was like 15, and so he moved it back and tried to move it again. And when he moved it back again, like, he moved the hill to set it down. And I was like, you can't move the hill to set that there. And so he put it back again, and he's like, well, fuck it, I'll just move over here. And I'm like, okay, like, as long as it's 12 inches, I don't give a fuck where you move it to, and like, the judge watched that whole exchange. And, but I had to stay on top of him the whole game, and it's frustrating when you have to do that, and it's exhausting. And, I don't know if he's just that way, because he's been that way for a few years. I remember it being worse in the past, but I keep hoping it'll get better. It doesn't, it was stressful, for lack of a better way of putting it. And I'm just not going to keep hammering on the guy, but goddamn. So, and I got done, and I already told you guys about the after game shenanigans and showing Kyle McCord my nuts. And but congrats to Kyle too, man, because Kyle had a hard fought weekend as well. So
yeah,
and he walked away with a good third, beat him by 1 point. So, any other takeaways you guys have?
Well, my King 5.
Oh,
my
shit.
game 5.
It's close to it's close to bedtime, Sean. Fuck you. So,
my game 5 was Charles Fox. He was playing Death Guard, which is what I want to see when I play my list, because Death Guard don't deal with Morty well, especially when I have Death Hex with it. So, play turn 1, not a lot of happens. Turn 1, I just slightly move up. He slightly moves up. Turn 2, I shoot Morty across the board into a couple plague drones. Kill one of the plague drones, put one down to 2 wounds, killed some poxwalkers here and there with random shooting. And then he charges Mortarion with the 5 Death Shot, wins Mortarion. At that point, Charles scoops and says, "All right, I'm not killing Mortarion." Gave me the game. I said, "Okay." But it was going to be a struggle for him at that point, too, because I had Death X available, and Death X was just going to walk through his army.
Charles had a pretty rough weekend, and as top monkey and Charles being bottom monkey, I get to pick a punishment for him at an upcoming GT. So,
oh, is that a rule?
That is a rule. You remember the shirt and the lipstick he wore at Iron Halo one year?
I don't. For Charles, I don't remember.
Yeah, he had a shirt with my face on it. It was the Burt Reynolds centerfold.
Oh.
And that was because I was top monkey from Show Me Showdown, and he was bottom monkey from Show Me Showdown.
Yeah, our 40KC club thing is basically whoever finishes best at a tournament, as long as it's not the team captain, gets the challenge for a captaincy game. So Connor will be challenging me for a captaincy game in the future.
You gonna lose? And
if he wins, he becomes the captain until the next tournament and all that good stuff. If he loses, I'm still captain.
I challenged him to blindfolded chest, and he denied.
I did not deny. I just gave him an emoticon, a shocked face.
So I'm hearing we're playing blindfolded chest.
I guess so. If that's what we're playing. But yeah, but that's my game. It was quick and easy. I mean, I think I was walking around after that. I sat down and watched games and pooped and came back and played some more.
Mine went to time on a chess clock. So,
well, I expect that with Jason.
Yeah.
Basically, you have to beat Jason real quick, or you're going to time.
Yeah, we went to time. So, well, good. That was a good event for being a first time.
And Connor, what happened on your ground fire?
My bad, guys. Just fucking take it.
Hey, you're good. I'm here.
You're the podcast captain
Sean's
tonight.
Sean's the new host of the show.
Yes, Sean, you're the captain tonight.
All right.
Yeah.
So, my game 5, I played Robert Moreland from Team Texas.
Okay.
He was also running AdMech. He had a bunch of the dogs. He had breachers. He had the Batman thing with the flamers. What is their actual name? That name is unpronounceable.
No, it's not. It's the Purifiers, I think is what it's called, or something like that. Or it's spelled weird, but that's basically what it is. I can't remember.
That word starts with a P-T-E-R-A-X-I-I. I don't think that's Purifiers.
Oh, that must be the other ones. The other ones are called... Well, there's 2 versions of them, right? There's
the bomb ones.
There's ones that drop bombs and then the ones that flame, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But he had a very interesting list. I was very terrified of it just because of how many shots it had. We deploy, and it was actually a really good mission because it wasn't hammer and anvil, so he couldn't get a bunch of turn 1 charges off. I couldn't get a bunch of turn 1 charges off. And turn 1 was basically just positioning. I go first, and I use that entire first turn to move behind a ruin. And that was basically it. I deployed a banner or 2. He then... I killed some horses, I think, too. He then moves up. Can't really get any shots off. I think he kills like 1 raider and a Hellion or something. And then turn 2, I basically just take over the entire board because Drakari can do that for some reason.
Balance, that's why.
Balanced. I charged my Hellions into some breachers and got into his backline. Like 6 inches off of his board edge. I advanced the raider that had the Raquifiers in him. Killed a unit of the Flamer Batman. Like all 8 of them, or 7 of them, what he had. And then I fire and faded onto an objective. What else happened? He came down, turned 2 hard, and killed like half my raiders. And like a unit of witches or something. He kept a unit of Electro Pieces in reserve.
When I walked past the table and saw that all off the board, I was like, I don't know if that's reserves or in transports, if that's dead. That's where it's at with Jakari for me. I'm like,
Yeah.
Is that dead? Is that in transports? Or is that reserves?
It was a little bit of both. He ended up killing all of my Hellions through the 4-up Invulnerable, turn 2. Which kind of sucked for me because they were right on like his main objective.
How do they get the 4 pinful again?
They have to kill a unit in combat with Call to Strife. It's from the supplement thing.
Gotcha.
It's some bullshit.
It is a little bullshit. He dropped his second unit of Flamer guys down on top of a ruin. Like, 12 inches would cover the exact 3 inches pile out where you killed the transport. So I place it down, my racks down to measure it, and then go, you know what? I'm going to emergency disembark. And I disembark all my racks outside of range of his flamers, and they live another turn. They then turned around, turn 3 to kill the entire squad, and then take an objective from him. And so, MVP unit of the tournament was those racks. Like, hands down. And I just eventually took objective from him and ended up winning the game.
You'd almost think 2 liquefiers in a unit of 5 is a little bit too much, huh?
No.
Almost.
Almost.
No, definitely not.
You know, well, it's not so much
that
it's too much. It's just that, okay, well, here. You die with Dark Technomancer if you roll once to hit. Oh, wait. They always hit.
What do you mean? That was totally intentional. Look, you can't roll once to hit with a flamer, right? That's intentional.
You're just lucky.
All right, so overall, it was a pretty good event.
Yeah, you're lucky you're not getting the asterisk after your goddamn GT.
Yeah.
But that game went down to, we ended top of 5 with 1 second left on my clock. We both went to time with just how intense that game was.
Jesus.
Fantastic game.
Yeah.
Best game I think of 40K I've ever played.
Well, good. It was a good event. I hope Jason does it again next year. You know, like I said, for you guys, it's not a horrible drive, I don't think.
3 hours.
Yeah.
Like 3 hours.
3 hours, 20 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, so it's nice to have like another like mid-sized GT in the region where you know, those mid-sized GTs, I think it tends to get like most of us dudes that like all live around here. You know, other than like fucking Ryan Snyder showing up, you know, nobody else was really.
Where does he live?
Jesus Christ,
where is he from?
Yeah.
He did not win the GT, which I was happy.
He showed up in the Midwest, was like, "Get the fuck out of here!"
Yeah.
And, I talked to him a little bit. Good, he was good, dude.
He's a good guy to talk to outside.
He comes across a little nutty on the internet. He's quit doing karate videos like fucking Napoleon Dynamite.
He does karate videos.
Yeah, so.
Oh, I need to see this.
Yeah, but other than that, he was a cool dude to talk to. I think he went 3-2.
He went 3-2. Yeah,
so he went 3-2. So I think the only person out of this bunch that he beat might have been Sean. Huh?
He didn't beat me. Well, he beat me, but at Iron Halo, and that was only by a point.
Yeah, but it was.
I was nice.
It was a good weekend. It was good to see. There were some faces that came out for the weekend that have not been out in a while. And I was super stoked to see those people out there. Like I said, like Tony was one. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't think I've seen Joe Gazowski since fucking last New Year's knockout. You know.
Well, you got to bring Tony out if you want to get Joe out. Basically. 9 times out of 10, like he'll show up to tournaments and stuff like that, but like for some reason he doesn't hang out with 40KC guys all the time. Then it's like, what the heck, Joe? Like I'll see him off in the distance. I'm like, oh hey Joe, and then he's just sitting by himself. I'm like, Joe, come over here, but.
Come socialize.
Just an old man taking it easy on the weekend, man.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. Sometimes you got to do that.
Yeah, I'll probably be there in 5 years. So
yeah,
but it was good. Let's do some Lord Marshal standings.
Yeah,
and then GTFO. Let me get it pulled up here. Dude, what's funny is like I took second of the GT and I slid.
You went down, yeah,
and I went down in the standings for Lord Marshal. I was like, God damn it.
I think I'm 2. Kyle, for me.
I think I went up like 3.
Yeah, let's get there. I'm gonna come cover our pretty faces.
Oh, Ben jumped me too. I think Ben's mine too.
Alrighty, so here is the Lord Marshal rankings. After all the GTs this weekend. Number 10 for Lord Marshal is myself. Number 9 is Jason Merton. Number 8, Sean Dilly. Where were we at week before, Sean?
I think it was 6.
Okay. So number 7, Kyle McCord. Number 6, Aaron Cookie Cook. Number 5, John Brock went down a few spots. John Brock II went down. Number 4, James Kelling jumped. James won Spring Up, so he got some extra points. Also, Ben the Butcher Sherwin nipping at Dan's heels. I think he took second at Spring Up, so he went up a few points. Nate motherfucking Bates went to Detroit for whatever reason when there was the GT at his hometown. It was probably because everybody up there doesn't know his fucking shenanigans. And then
didn't he leave early or something like that?
I don't know what the fuck. Yeah, there was a neck-on player accused of misplaying something that had to catch a flight back. So if I'm no Sherlock Holmes, but and then number 1, Dan motherfucking Stammen still sitting at the top.
Still sitting at the top.
The team rankings. Number 5 is the Warhogs. Number 4 is the Rolling Sixes. Look at you guys. Number 3, 40KC. Number 2.
Not too far behind second either, though.
Yeah. Frozen North Gaming at number 2. And number 1, those fat fucking hillbillies, the Outlanders. So
Dan and Friends, don't you mean Dan and Friends?
Dan and Friends, yeah. Got to get it right. So that's the Lord Marshal standings. If you're interested in the Lord Marshal Conference, go to lordmarshal.org. And we run a conference pretty much spans the Midwest. And we have some great events. Speaking of events, let's see what's coming up this next month. I know there's still some Show Me Showdown tickets out there, right, Sean?
Mm-hmm. There are, yeah. I think we're down to less than 30, maybe.
Okay.
I'll look it up.
Well, May, we don't have a whole lot so far. This weekend, I'll be at the Double Decker Invitational. Free State Gaming Club has a RTT for 20 players on the 8th. That date's got to be wrong. It's probably going to be the 8th of May. Hero Complex Games and Entertainment has a GT. So if you're looking for a GT in May, it's 21st. Well, the 21st Friday. So it'll be 22nd, 23rd. Hero Complex Game and Entertainment. There is still some spots available. So if you're looking for those GT points, you can get there. June's Bug Eater. I am going to Bug Eater. Are you guys going to Bug Eater?
I'm going to Bug Eater.
I'm going to Bug Eater just to hang out.
Okay.
I don't have a ticket.
Well,
Are you on the wait list?
I am on the wait list.
Okay. Well, I'm going to actually play. This will be my first Bug Eater, so I'm looking to see what
this is my first Bug Eater
the Rotors in the gang does. And then the Branson Brawl. I went to the Branson Brawl last year. Wes runs a really good tournament. Show him some love. And Branson's a beautiful place, man. Branson is a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. So that's what we got coming up for May and June so far. As events get added, we'll talk about them here. Probably closer out there. Connor, congrats on the GT win.
Thank you much.
I hope that you can win an RTT someday. And
it's not going to happen.
Thanks for coming on to Stunt Duncan tonight, since he's decided he's just going to be a persona non grata. So
anytime.
Yeah. And Sean, as always, man, it was a blast this weekend.
Hey, it's great. And, I'll throw out one more thing. So yeah, less than 30 tickets left. Show Me Showdown. They do go up to, I believe, $65 starting the first to get your tickets.
Yeah. And Show Me Showdown's always been fun. I've always had a good time there. Nate Martin runs a good, clean event. He's not afraid to bounce motherfuckers that are pulling shenanigans. So
neither am I.
Yeah. My boy Matt Root is going to be there this year. I think,
excellent. Yeah.
I think Ben Sherwin's going. So it should be a cool event with some contenders there. I would like to test my mettle against some and see if I can still get some of those top finishes. So. As always, too, if I got a Patreon giveaway for April, and I'll have one for May that I'll announce. I am trying to get subs for the YouTube page, so go find Flying Monkeys Wargaming on YouTube, subscribe to it, throw a couple likes on some videos, and see if we can grow the channel. And I'm gonna give away some more shit. I will announce what I'm gonna give away next week. So I do have a couple $100 sitting over here. I'm trying to eyeball, but the light's low and I'm tired, so. That's what happens when you get old, Sean.
Well, hey, I'm tired too, dude. I'm ready to go to bed, but I know I have to get off here and do more work.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for coming on tonight, and we'll see everybody next week.